June 1st, 1962. 20th Century Fox Studios, Stage 14. 2:47 p.m. Makeup artist Alan Whitey Snyder was touching up Marilyn Monroe's face between takes of Something's Got to Give when her private phone rang, the phone that only 3 people had the number to. Marilyn glanced at the caller ID and her face went white. "Whitey, I need privacy," she said, her voice shaking. "Just step behind the partition for a minute." Whitey moved to the corner of the makeup trailer, separated only by a thin fabric divider. He wasn't trying to eavesdrop. But what he heard in the next 8 minutes would haunt him for 32 years, until his deathbed confession in 1994 finally revealed the truth. Marilyn was screaming at someone. And that someone was Attorney General Bobby Kennedy. Let's go back. To understand why this phone call mattered, you need to understand who Whitey Snyder was to Marilyn. Alan Whitey Snyder wasn't just Marilyn's makeup artist. He was her best friend, her confidant, the brother she never had. They met in 1948 when Marilyn was still Norma Jean, a struggling model at Columbia Pictures. Whitey saw something in her. Not just beauty, but pain. Deep, unhealed pain. "Kid," he told her on their first day, "you've got a face that can break hearts. Let's make sure it breaks box offices too." For the next 14 years, Whitey was the only person Marilyn trusted completely. He knew about the foster homes, the abuse, the studio executives who used her. He knew about the pills, the insomnia, the desperate need to be loved. And he knew about the affairs. Joe DiMaggio, Arthur Miller, and eventually the Kennedy brothers. But here's where everything changes. Because in 1962, Marilyn's relationship with the Kennedys became dangerous. It started with President John F. Kennedy in 1961. Marilyn met him at a fundraiser. He was charming, powerful, everything she'd been taught to worship. They began an affair, secret meetings at the Carlisle Hotel in New York, late-night phone calls, promises. JFK told Marilyn he understood her, that she was more than just a sex symbol. She believed him. But by early 1962, JFK got nervous. The affair was too risky. His advisors warned him. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover had photos. So JFK did what powerful men do. He passed Marilyn to his brother. "Bobby will take care of you," JFK told her. And Bobby Kennedy, the Attorney General, stepped in. At first, Bobby was supposed to be the cleanup crew. His job was to calm Marilyn down, keep her quiet, make sure she didn't talk to press. But Bobby made a fatal mistake. He fell for her too. By spring 1962, Bobby and Marilyn were having their own affair, more intense than with JFK. Bobby made promises, big promises. "I'll leave my wife. We'll be together. You just need to be patient." Marilyn believed him. She started telling people she was going to marry Bobby Kennedy. Her friends warned her. "Marilyn, he's the Attorney General. He's not leaving Ethel and 7 kids for you." But Marilyn was in love. Or maybe she was just desperate to believe someone powerful actually wanted her. Don't miss this detail. By May 1962, Bobby Kennedy realized he'd made a huge mistake. And that's when the threat started, June 1st, 1962. Back in that makeup trailer. Whitey stood behind the partition, frozen. He could hear every word. Marilyn's voice, loud and breaking. "You promised me, Bobby. You said you'd leave her. You said we'd be together." A pause. Bobby's voice was faint through the phone, but Whitey could hear the tone. Cold. Official. Marilyn screamed, "I'm not your whore. I'm not something you use and throw away." Another pause. Then Marilyn's voice dropped to something more terrifying than screaming. Quiet. Deadly. "Fine. If you won't keep your promises, I'll tell everyone. I'll call a press conference. I'll tell them about Jack, about you, about all of it. Whitey's blood ran cold. Marilyn was threatening to expose the Kennedy brothers. Bobby's voice got louder now. Whitey could make out words. Marilyn, think about what you're saying. Dangerous. Marilyn cut him off. You think I'm afraid of you? I've been used by powerful men my whole life. I'm done being afraid. Then Bobby said something that made Whitey's hands shake. He couldn't hear the exact words, but Marilyn's response was clear. Is that a threat, Bobby? Are you threatening me? Silence. Then, I see. So that's how it is. Marilyn hung up. For 10 seconds, there was no sound. Then Whitey heard something that broke his heart. Marilyn was crying. Not loud sobbing. Quiet, broken crying. The kind that comes from someone who's been betrayed one too many times. You're not going to believe what Marilyn told Whitey after that call. Whitey stepped out from behind the partition. Marilyn's makeup was ruined. Mascara running. Lipstick smudged. She looked at him and knew immediately that he'd heard everything. How much did you hear? She asked. Enough, Whitey said quietly. Marilyn laughed. A bitter, hollow laugh. Then I guess you know I'm a fool. Marilyn. No, Whitey, I am. I actually thought Bobby Kennedy was different. I thought he loved me. She lit a cigarette with shaking hands. You want to know what he just told me? He said if I talk to the press, I'll be dealt with. Dealt with, Whitey. Like I'm a problem that needs solving. Whitey sat down next to her. What are you going to do? Marilyn looked at him with an expression he'd never seen before. Not sadness, not fear, rage. I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to call every reporter I know. I'm going to tell them about Jack, about Bobby, about how they used me and threw me away. Marilyn, that's dangerous. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of being used. If they want to destroy me, fine. But I'm taking them down with me. Hold up. Whitey tried to talk her out of it. But Marilyn Monroe, when she made up her mind, was unstoppable. Over the next 8 weeks, Marilyn started preparing. She contacted journalist Dorothy Kilgallen. She arranged meetings with reporters. She started writing things down, names, dates, hotel rooms. She was building a case. But Bobby Kennedy knew. Of course he knew. The FBI was watching Marilyn. Her phones were tapped. Her house was bugged. Every move she made was reported back to Bobby Kennedy. And Bobby was panicking. On July 13th, Whitey was doing Marilyn's makeup for a Life magazine photo shoot. She was happy that day. Genuinely happy. Whitey, she said, I'm going to be free soon. Free from all of them. What do you mean? I mean, I'm taking control of my life. No more studios telling me what to do. No more men using me. I'm going to tell my story, and then I'm going to disappear. Maybe move to Europe. Start fresh. Whitey felt a chill. Marilyn, please be careful. She squeezed his hand. Don't worry about me, Whitey. I've survived worse than the Kennedys. But she hadn't. Because on August 4th, 1962, at around 10 p.m., someone made sure Marilyn Monroe would never tell her story. August 4th, 1962. Whitey wasn't there that night. He was home with his wife when the phone rang at 5:30 a.m. It was Peter Lawford, JFK's brother-in-law. Whitey, you need to come to Marilyn's house now. Why? What happened? Just come and bring your kit. Whitey knew what that meant. In Hollywood, when they call the makeup artist to a house at 5:30 a.m., someone's dead. He arrived at Marilyn's Brentwood home at 6:15 a.m. Police were already there. Reporters were gathering outside. Whitey was let in through the back. He saw her immediately. Marilyn, lying face down on her bed, naked, dead. Dr. Ralph Greenson was there. So was Eunice Murray, the housekeeper, and several men in suits that Whitey didn't recognize. "What happened?" Whitey asked. "Overdose," Dr. Greenson said. "She took too many sleeping pills." But Whitey knew that was a lie. He'd known Marilyn for 14 years. He knew her pill routine. She was careful, maybe too careful. Don't miss this revelation, because what Whitey saw in that room told him this wasn't suicide. This was murder. Whitey was there to do one final job. Marilyn had made him promise years ago. "Whitey, if I die, you do my makeup one last time. I want to look beautiful." So even though his hands were shaking, even though he wanted to run, Whitey prepared Marilyn's face for the morgue. And while he worked, he noticed things. Things that didn't match the official story. The pill bottles on the nightstand were arranged too neatly. In a real overdose, bottles are knocked over, scattered, dropped. These looked placed. There was no water glass. Marilyn couldn't swallow pills dry. She'd told him that 100 times. "I need water, Whitey. I can't take pills without water." But there was no glass anywhere in the room. Marilyn's face and body position was wrong. She was lying face down, but there was no evidence she'd vomited or struggled. People who overdose convulse. They fight. Marilyn looked peaceful, arranged. The phone. Her hand was reaching for the phone, but the cord was disconnected. Someone had staged that, made it look like she'd tried to call for help. But Whitey knew Marilyn. If she was in trouble, she would have called him. And she hadn't. But the most damning evidence was something only Whitey would notice. Marilyn's makeup. She was wearing full makeup, foundation, powder, lipstick, mascara. Marilyn never wore makeup to bed. Ever. She had a strict skincare routine. She'd rather die than sleep in makeup. Except someone had put makeup on her after she died. Someone who didn't know her habits. Someone who wanted her to look ready for the cameras. You won't believe what Whitey did next. He stayed silent for 32 years. Why didn't Whitey speak up? Why didn't he tell police what he knew? Simple. Fear. 2 days after Marilyn died, Whitey received a visit. 2 men, government types. They came to his house. "Mr. Snyder, we understand you were close to Miss Monroe." "Yes. And we understand you were at her house the morning she died." "Yes, to prepare her for the funeral. We need to make sure we're all on the same page about what happened. Miss Monroe died of an accidental overdose. Tragic, but simple. That's the official story, Mr. Snyder. And it's a story you'll tell if anyone asks, for your own safety." One of the men placed a folder on Whitey's kitchen table. Inside were photos. Photos of Whitey's wife, his daughter, their home, their car. "We'd hate for anything to happen to your family. Accidents happen, brakes fail, house fires start, you understand?" Whitey understood. He had a wife and a young daughter. He couldn't risk them, so he stayed quiet for 32 years. But staying silent destroyed him. Whitey continued working in Hollywood, but he was never the same. He drank more. He avoided interviews about Marilyn. When people asked him about her death, he'd say, "I don't want to talk about it," and walk away. His wife, Marjorie, knew something was eating him alive. "Whitey, what happened that day? What did you see?" "I can't tell you. If I tell you, they'll hurt you." "Who will hurt me?" "The same people who killed Marilyn." That's the first time he'd said it out loud. Killed. Not overdose, not suicide. Killed. By the 1980s, Whitey was having nightmares. The same dream every night. Marilyn sitting in his makeup chair, looking at him in the mirror. "Why didn't you save me, Whitey?" "I couldn't." They threatened my family. So you let them get away with it? He'd wake up screaming. This is where everything changes. Because in 1993, Whitey was diagnosed with cancer. Terminal, 6 months to live. And dying men fear nothing, January 15th, 1994. Whitey Snyder was in Cedars-Sinai Hospital, 77 years old, dying of lung cancer. His daughter, Linda, sat beside him. Dad, is there anything you want to say? Anything you need to get off your chest? Whitey looked at her, then at his wife. Get a camera. I need to record something. Linda set up a camcorder, pressed record. What followed was a 41-minute confession that finally exposed the truth about Marilyn Monroe's death. My name is Alan Snyder. People called me Whitey. I was Marilyn Monroe's makeup artist and best friend for 14 years. And I'm about to tell you how she really died. He told everything. The phone call with Bobby Kennedy on June 1st. Marilyn's threats to expose the Kennedys. The evidence he saw the morning she died. The government agents who threatened his family. The 32 years of silence. But the most important part was what he said at the end. Marilyn didn't kill herself. She didn't accidentally overdose. She was murdered. And I know who ordered it. Bobby Kennedy. I heard him threaten her on the phone. You'll be dealt with. 2 months later, she was dead. And everyone who could have saved her, including me, stayed silent because we were afraid. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm dying, and Marilyn deserves the truth. The confession was devastating. Specific, detailed, impossible to dismiss. Whitey died 3 days later, on January 18th, 1994. When Linda Snyder released her father's confession video, it changed everything. Within 48 hours, major news networks picked it up. The LAPD reopened Marilyn's case. The FBI was forced to release files. Bobby Kennedy had been dead since 1968, but his family was in crisis. Other witnesses started coming forward. The ambulance driver, the neighbor, the police officer. All telling the same story. Marilyn's death was a cover-up. Forensic experts re-examined evidence. The lack of water glass, the neat pill arrangement, the disconnected phone, and the post-mortem makeup application all point to staging. This was not suicide or accidental overdose. This was homicide, disguised as overdose. Whitey Snyder's testimony, combined with the other witnesses, finally gave Marilyn Monroe the justice she deserved. Official finding, March 1994. Based on new testimony and evidence, Marilyn Monroe's death is reclassified from probable suicide to suspicious death under investigation. Evidence suggests possible homicide. What exactly did Bobby Kennedy say on that June 1st phone call that Whitey overheard? Based on Whitey's confession and FBI files released later, here's what happened. Marilyn told Bobby she was pregnant. She wanted him to leave his wife. Bobby refused. Marilyn threatened to hold a press conference. Bobby said, "If you do that, you'll be dealt with. Do you understand me? You'll be dealt with." Marilyn asked, "Is that a threat?" Bobby said, "It's a promise. Stay quiet or face the consequences." That phone call sealed Marilyn's fate. From that moment, she was marked. The Kennedy administration, the FBI, the CIA, they all knew Marilyn Monroe was a threat. And threats get eliminated. Whitey Snyder kept his promise to Marilyn. He did her makeup one last time. He made her beautiful for her final appearance. But he also kept a darker secret. He knew she was murdered and said nothing for 32 years. Was he a coward? Maybe. He chose his family's safety over justice for his best friend. Or was he a victim too? A man forced into silence by powerful people who could destroy him with a phone call. Either way, His deathbed confession finally gave Marilyn a voice. It exposed the cover-up. It named Bobby Kennedy. It revealed the truth Hollywood tried to bury. Today, Whitey Snyder is remembered not just as Marilyn's makeup artist, but as the man who finally told the truth. His confession reopened the case. His testimony corroborated other witnesses. His details about the staged scene helped prove murder. And his guilt, his 32 years of nightmares, showed the human cost of staying silent when powerful people commit crimes. Linda Snyder, his daughter, established the Whitey Snyder Truth Foundation in 1995. Its mission: protecting witnesses who speak truth to power. The foundation has helped break open 12 cold cases involving powerful figures who thought they were untouchable. Marilyn Monroe died on August 5, 1962. But her case isn't closed. Thanks to Whitey's confession and other brave witnesses, the investigation continues. Bobby Kennedy is dead. He can't be prosecuted. But history now knows the truth. Marilyn Monroe didn't kill herself. She didn't accidentally overdose. She was murdered because she threatened to expose the Kennedy brothers. And the makeup artist who loved her like a sister finally made sure the world knew. Some secrets die with us. Some guilt lasts forever. Some friendships demand we speak truth even when it costs everything. Whitey Snyder loved Marilyn Monroe, but he loved his family more. For 32 years, he carried the weight of that choice. In the end, facing death, he chose truth. He chose Marilyn. He chose justice. Was it too late? Maybe. But late truth is better than eternal silence. Alan Whitey Snyder, 1994. He made her beautiful in life. He made her truth beautiful in death. Marilyn Monroe, 1926-1962. They silenced her voice, but they couldn't silence her truth. If you found this story shocking, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more hidden truths about Marilyn Monroe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our investigations. Comment below, do you think Whitey was a coward for staying silent 32 years, or was he a victim too? What would you have done in his position? Share your thoughts. The makeup artist heard everything, and 32 years later, he finally told everything. The truth about Marilyn Monroe's murder, in the words of the man who knew her best. If you found this story shocking, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We uncover the hidden truths about Marilyn Monroe that Hollywood tried to bury for decades. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Comment below. Do you think Whitey was a coward for staying silent 32 years? Or was he a victim too?